Nice to meet you.
Sorry, I'm joining the sessions because when it started in early days, I introduced Sifa to the teamwork group. So it's a good thing that this is happening.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm happy to be here and would like to, do some screenshot of the session so I can share it to the alumni engagement team as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't make it happen if Mas Didi hadn't told me about the teamwork project. Mas Didi, do you want to introduce someone from Monash, Indonesia?
I'm not sure anyone's joining because the one in Monash Indonesia campus are having what do you call
Orientation?
staff outing.
Oh, okay, sure.
So yeah, so unfortunately only myself then, yeah.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
Actually, we are recording the meeting today, so we are going to send it to anyone who couldn't make it today, so it's
All
fine.
right, that's good.
Yep.
All right.
And to us as well, Siva, please.
Okay. I think because everyone's already here, and then
Siva, I have one student, Saban Khan. Do you know if that student has been working? Oh.
Suban Khan, I think he's
Yes.
here. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, just now. Okay. Everyone's here.
I just want to make sure, Luz, is Rido is one of your team?
Who? Sorry?
Rido. Who is this one?
Sorry, hi everyone. Actually, I'm Monash.
No.
Sorry?
So yeah, I'm Monash Indonesia. I'm cyber student.
Welcome, Rido. It's good to see you.
That's what I want to confirm
Here.
If someone is not from the team, and I'm like, yeah.
Welcome. Welcome to the sessions. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're glad that you can make it. Okay. Because
Welcome,
actually we're inviting from Monash Indonesia Cybersecurity. So if anyone could make it, so I'm glad that someone could make it then.
Perfect. And Siva, from teamwork, I've just checked attendance. Everyone is here. So this is fantastic.
Great. Okay, so it's all achieved, right? Okay, good. Okay, thank you everyone who's already making it, like especially the ones who lived in Australia, 'cause especially it's already like super late, like 10 p.m. And I think like Christopher from UK, from Warwick, he needs to leave early. So I'll just give the presentation time to Christopher's group first, right? Yeah. So I think Christopher and you guys can start for the group presentation. Okay.
How do we share our screens? Or,
yeah.
But how do we do it? Sorry.
Oh, okay. Hannah, can you?
Oh, no, it's okay.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, great. So this is our report, which was based around cybersecurity awareness in Indonesia. Armang, if you can move to the next one. So this is our executive summary, which gives an overview of our project, what we wanted to discover and the steps we took, and then how we reached the conclusions we reached. So basically, the crux behind our report is that Indonesia has a very fast growing cyberspace, a very fast growing digital sector. But what comes with that is more and more Indonesians connecting to the internet and using social media and the online different sort of platforms. However, coming with that fast growing economic growth also comes a large vulnerability to cyber attacks, such as phishing scams and malware attacks, due to the lack of digital awareness that comes with this sort of newfound online platforms. So what we cover in our report is, first, we consider the necessity of cyber awareness, with a particular look at 3 case studies pertaining to Indonesia, Tokopedia, eHack, and Bjorka. Then from that, we consider why those case studies fed into the development of the PDP law. And then we look at what the PDP law is, what it entails, and then why that was a necessary legislation that had to pass to protect individuals and corporations moving forward with this sort of digital explosion in Indonesia. From there, we look at the impact of the PDP law, particularly pertaining to individuals and corporations, both small and large. And we look to try and help by giving our own recommendations on steps that they could take to increase their cyber awareness and or protect from possible cyber attacks and cyber crimes. We finished with our conclusions with further recommendations that we think that Indonesia should take going forth to help protect vulnerable consumers as the digital sector expands further. Ironman, if you can move to the next one, please. Thank you. So this first slide is discussing the necessity of cyber awareness in Indonesia. So a lot of this, so the first part sort of feeds back to what I just said earlier in the overview. Indonesia has become the largest economy in Southeast Asia, experiencing a very big boom from their growth in the digital sector, particularly in e-commerce, and something that we'll discuss further on later when we talk about this Tokopedia case study. However, because of this, there is a lack of digital literacy, particularly in Indonesians more based in the more rural areas, as they are only now becoming increasingly more connected to the internet. So as you can see, there are some statistics here, such as that Indonesia currently ranks 84th on the National Cybersecurity Index, and they have a score of 3.54 on the Digital Literacy Index, making highlighting that they've been more susceptible to scams and the spreading of misinformation. So moving forward, also a side point, Indonesia is very unique in that it has a very trusting culture, which also leads on to why it is so important that we push for more cyber education and more understanding of the necessity of cybersecurity. So moving forward onto the case studies. I think this is over to Simona.
Yeah, thank you, Christopher. So the first case study that we explored was Tokopedia. Tokopedia is Indonesia's largest e-commerce platform, and in March 2020, there was a data breach that claimed to affect 15 million users, but it was only acknowledged by Tokopedia in May, and the next day, the government responded and urged Tokopedia to improve security measures, and it was revealed that the breach actually revealed 91 million user data that include their names, email addresses, and phone numbers. Additionally, the social security numbers of 279 million people were also exposed. Tokopedia urged users to update their passwords and launched an investigation as well. This incident triggered public outrage and highlighted the need for strong cybersecurity measures in Indonesia. Thank you. Moving forward, I'll have this next argument. Who will be talking about the e-hack breach?
The e-hack breach the e-hack itself was a platform implemented by the Indonesian government as a track and trace system for people that were traveling and to maintain their sort of COVID-19 vaccination status and to track if they've been tested positive. So this took place in 2021 when the pandemic was well and truly affecting all of us. And this impacted the sort of database side of the application. So there was the application that the users actually input all the information in, and then that information was then stored in an online database, which did not have adequate security controls. Attackers were able to get into this database and view a lot of sensitive information, such as the users' names, addresses, travel information, as well as their medical information, so the last hospital visits and their vaccination status. This was a very, very comprehensive breach, with 1.3 million people realizing that almost all their sensitive information is publicly available. And this gives attackers the chance to either steal their identities with any complete records that may have been available, or launch a very targeted phishing attack. So they could be calling these users saying that, hey, I am calling from your doctor's office, you had this operation done. Anyone that gets that sort of call will assume that a stranger would not know that they've had these sort of procedures done. So how you can stay protected would be just to be more vigilant, and this applies to both enterprises and organizations as well as individuals. So just being vigilant about who's calling you, who has access to your information, and how you're responding to them. So I'll be handing it over now to the next case study.
Yeah, we also touched a lot on Bjorka. Now, a lot of people consider Bjorka the catalyst to what finally pushed the personal data protection law, or we'll also shorten it to the PDP law for the government. Essentially, what happened was in September of 2022, a hacker known as Bjorka gained notoriety after leaking 1.3 billion SIM card registration details for sale on the dark web. Now, a big part of this attack, not only in the scale, was also on the fact that Bjorka took to social media to kind of embarrass the Indonesian government. So they actually released a series of tweets essentially criticizing, I guess, the weak security covered by the government. And you can also see here down here, we listed a lot of the frequency of the large-scale hacks in 2022. The reason why this one gained a lot of notoriety was simply because that there was a lot of embarrassment for the government. So they felt like they themselves had to do something. Now, moving onwards here, we can see that the PDP law, it was, if we go on to the next slide, we can see that it was enacted finally on the 17th of October, 2022. Now, this was the same law that was originally mooted in public, mooted in court in 2012. So we can see that the Bjorka hack had a lot of influence on actually pushing it through. Now, in regards to what was actually covered in the PDP law, so it was a massive article. It spanned about 76 articles across 16 different chapters. And in regards to compliance here, it had a really wide scope. So it required compliance from any persons, public bodies, or international organizations that were going to process data or otherwise perform legal acts recognized under law in the jurisdiction of Indonesia. We do go onwards on the next slide to discuss why this law is necessary.
So before the implementation of the PDP law, there was a lot of vulnerabilities because the regulations were spread across many different pieces of legislation. And as we've seen just previously in the case studies, this left a lot of individuals and corporations susceptible to cyber attacks, and particularly attacks on personal data and leading to various cases of data leakage. So this PDP law is necessary in making sure that both consumers and corporations are protected in terms of their personal data, and to make sure that there's continuing trust in moving forward with the digital sector as not to hinder its growth, but also to make sure that the growth does continue further without being sort of loomed by the shadow of the cyber attacks and increasing cyber crime. So although there are arguments that the PDP law isn't sufficient enough to protect from cyber attacks on personal data, it is a necessary step forward. And moreover, a very unique article of the PDP law is the implementation of a DPA, a data protection authority, which acts as an enforcement to crack down on cybercrime and particularly maintain the law set out in the personal data protection law. Now, a unique feature of the PDP law is that although it was influenced by the EU GDPR, it does contain some differences. For example, financial services are for the most part exempt from the law, and it also addresses facial recognition technologies as a more modern piece of legislation. And it is also more specific in terms of regarding financial data and something even more important, child-related data, classifying them as specific personal data. It is also shortens the time of response from the month, which is in the EU GDPR, to a much shorter 72 hours for the time frame of response.
When it comes to corporations, being protected from cyber attacks is a sort of key priority in this digital age, whether it be protection from a reputation loss due to a breach, as well as the physical loss of data. Companies are very, very they're prioritizing cybersecurity now. At the center of these cybersecurity strategies is a strong cybersecurity team. These teams are are responsible for maintaining a strong security posture, as well as ensuring that they are compliant with the PDP law. Small to medium-sized companies are especially vulnerable due to a few key reasons. They all sort of tie into the fact that they have limited resources and they have limited man hours. So as a result of this, there's a lack of expertise and limited training within the company, as well as a lack of supply chain risk management. SMEs tend to outsource and contract a lot of their key operations. And when you're doing that, it's easy to lose track of the cybersecurity posture of your vendors. Since cybersecurity is as strong as the weakest link, one compromised vendor can be a compromise in your own company. As well as this, there is the perception of the lower risk and a limited incident response capability. The three industries that have a very significantly higher risk to cyber attacks would be e-commerce, finance, and healthcare. E-commerce, because there is a lot of very sensitive payment and customer information flowing in and out of the systems where the protection may not be adequate. And an example of this can be seen in Tokopedia. So they make very attractive targets for cyber criminals. Finance is another a heavily targeted industry with, of course, a lot of very sensitive financial information, and occasionally some very old legacy systems that may not be maintained properly. Healthcare is another industry that holds a wealth of sensitive patient information, such as the eHack breach. So this can be medical records, insurance details, and personal data such as name, address, age, all those sort of things. Cyber attacks that target healthcare organizations can lead to key disruptions in patient care, which can also lead to loss of life. This is also because this can also happen due to legacy systems in hospitals, as a system that has a lot of stress on it may not be updated or maintained as well as it should be. Now passing it on.
Major corporations are vulnerable to cyber attacks due to the valuable and sensitive data that they hold, the public exposure, and the status in high positions, along with the lack of awareness, insufficient cybersecurity, and having outdated systems. The major corporations can tackle the problems by having a risk assessment and management team, security awareness training, regular security updates, and incidents response plan, and continuous monitoring and threat detection, along with regular security audits and penetration testing. We have 4 examples here of the major corporations being hacked in Indonesia. Bhinneka in May 2020, an consumer electronics website that leaked 1.3 million users' data. Indonesia's Universal Healthcare Agency in May 2021, where social security data of 279 million people was leaked, including their names and addresses. BRI Life in July 2021, an insurance company that experienced a hack which exposed banking details of 2 million customers. And the State Electrical Company, PLN, in August 2022, the data of 17 million customers was leaked online, including their names, addresses, and power usage information.
Alrighty, and as previously mentioned there, one of the key factors of the PDP law was that the government was planning on establishing a data protection authority. Now that's just on a governmental level. On a company level there, they do also require the establishment of a data privacy team, and they did give a compliance of 2 years. So you have 2 years to make these relevant changes to your company. Now, a reason why we do suggest outsourcing a data privacy team here is in part to that short, I guess, time span to make those changes. So a lot of the advantages of outsourcing, as can be seen here, is just the experience and expertise that comes from the outsourcing a private team, the scalability, especially as your business size grows or shrinks with the economy there, cost efficiency. Now, obviously, this depends on the original overhead of the business, enhanced compliance. So this in particular here, just because you do only have those 2 years to make those changes, we do encourage companies to obviously do their own assessment and review of their company's current cybersecurities. but in a lot of instances, outsourcing can give a more comprehensive overview of their current privacy risks. Furthermore, it can also help with resource management and faster remediation times by using a specialized team. On the market here, there are currently a lot of security vendors that offer to manage an organization's security operations center, and they offer a variety of services that can help in coordinating all operations and managing potential threats as they arise. Now we'll move on to protecting against cyber attacks on an individual.
Okay, so here are some general guidelines about how the general public can protect themselves from cyber attacks and social engineering. So one of the ways is to have complex password using a combination of uppercase, lowercase letters, and numbers, symbols. And then we could also have multi-factor authentication activated. So in order to act like an extra layer of security, an example would be for MFAs to have during online bank transactions where they send an OTP to your phone or email address. And then we could also encrypt sensitive data using encryption methods such as AES to protect sensitive information when being transferred and also when being stored. And then also we could use up-to-date software, like keeping our operating systems and other softwares and application up-to-date means that it can patch known vulnerabilities, and also we can install and maintain firewalls and also reputable antivirus software to protect against malware and unauthorized access. Moving on, we should, in order to secure networks, we can secure our Wi-Fi networks with strong passwords and using WPA2 and WPA3 encryption standards. Also, we should always avoid using public Wi-Fi networks when we are dealing with sensitive activities such as bank transactions. And then about email attachments, we can be wary with unsolicited emails and attachments, especially from unknown senders. And we should always verify the email address and URLs before clicking on any links. And then with social media privacy, we should adjust our social media privacy to limit information visible to the public as well. Then we thought of having some phishing attacks because one of the things we've noticed is that Indonesia has become the country with the most phishing counts in the financial sector. So we thought of educating people about the phishing attacks is considered essential. So like there are 5 main types of phishing attacks: spear phishing, whaling, voice phishing, and smishing, which is, and then we have angler phishing and farming. So spear phishing is actually phishing attack which targets a specific individual organization, typically using malicious email. So the goal here is to steal sensitive information such as login credential or even infect the victim's device with malware. Then whaling is actually a type of spear phishing, which is directed at the high-level executives, where they act as a legitimate or known trusted entities and encourage the victim to share highly sensitive information or even wire transfer to fraudulent accounts. And phishing and smishing is actually scams where criminals attempt to get users to click on fraudulent links through a phone call or even a text message. And these scams are becoming increasingly popular among the cyber criminals and try to take advantages of people who are generally not so familiar with the technology or even who are experiencing a crisis at the moment. So then moving on to angler phishing, it's actually a new type of phishing attack which target the social media users. So people disguise themselves as a customer service agent on social media in order to reach a disgruntled customer and obtain their personal information or even account credential. And farming, which is actually not a type of fishing, but farming and fishing kind of goes hand in hand. So that's why we thought of adding farming. So it is a scamming practice which misdirects the users to fraudulent websites without their knowledge or consent, and then aim for the users to like input their personal information, and with these personal information such as credit card details or bank account details, once they entered in the fraudulent website, the criminal can perform identity theft. So because of these scams and everything, we should have proper security measurements that we can implement to avoid these type of cybercrimes. Araman, can you go to the next slide? Yep, thank you. So here are some of the ways that we can avoid these cybercrimes: having email filters. So like an email filter could act, like it can block known phishing emails, even suspicious attachments. So when identifying the scam account, the email filter will look at the things called red flags, like sender reputation, smoothed IP addresses, or any suspicious links to identify these kind of spams. And then another important thing is using DERMA. So with the use of DERMA, which is actually an email authentication policy and a reporting protocol to check if the email message really originates from where it claims to have. So this also actually add a reporting capability so that if you are a domain owner, you can examine the email authentication stats on your domain as well. And then we could also use web filters to analyze web application accessed by the users and restrict access to specific blacklisted websites, content, or domains deemed kind of malicious and inappropriate by the admins. And then further, we could educate the users about identifying and reporting phishing attacks as well. Then moving on, like if you want to educate further, you can, there are online courses about cybersecurity where we can enroll ourselves easily. And most importantly, most of them are beginner friendly. So, and another way is to like read books and articles about cybersecurity best practices and emerging threats every once in a while. And then another thing would be pursue cybersecurity certifications like CompTIA Security Plus and CEH, which is kind of popular, like a certified ethical hacker. And then the government also sponsor awareness through, like, the Indonesian government could raise cybersecurity awareness by dedicating cybersecurity website with resources and tips and making sure to update the information in a timely manner. And also the government can sponsor public campaigns to raise awareness about latest cybersecurity issues and promote online practices. So now Christopher will give an overview of the things we've discussed and suggest some recommendations as well.
So to conclude our presentation on our report, we just want to reiterate the key message which we have tried to convey across, which is that with the expansion of Indonesia's digital sector, the vulnerability to cyber threats is escalating. However, despite this, Indonesia is making strides towards fortifying its cyber defenses through the new legislation and investments in IT infrastructure. This report accentuates that point that moving forward, the primary focus should be on cyber education, as the most important thing for the people of Indonesia is to be able to understand how they can be vulnerable to cyber crimes and cyber attacks. While this report has presented key strategies that both individuals and corporations can use today to bolster their defenses, a broader investment in IT infrastructure, cybersecurity, and most importantly, cyber education is recommended to help sustain a robust and resilient digital environment in the face of the growing cyber economy. Thank you.
Now I can quickly also take you through the infographics that we put together. So on the left is what we have sort of for individuals wanting to educate themselves and protect themselves against common cyber attacks. The main one being phishing, due to, as we previously mentioned, Indonesia having a higher amount of phishing attacks. So we start off by sort of just giving a few tips on how to secure passwords and how to enable two-factor authentication and the importance of doing so, and what phishing actually is in a very easy and relatable way to understand through text. The one on the right is what we have for SMEs who want to further understand the PDP law. It sort of breaks the law down into how the SME can prepare themselves by staying informed, enhancing data security measures, implementing privacy by design, employee training, and then consent management, and then also the benefits of outsourcing data security. Thank you.
Okay. Do you guys still have any other infographics or any other information?
No, I think nothing from us. That's the whole report.
Okay. Okay, then I will add my report. Oh yeah, thank you, Luz, for reminding everyone. I think everyone inside the group could turn on the camera so we could. Sorry, I have my background music like I was outside. Okay. Thank you for group 1. Thank you for Aryaman, Bochi, Christopher, Sapindi. Have I mentioned everyone in group 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did.
Hi, Siva. Sorry, I just have to
Yeah.
run now back to work, but I just want to say thank you
Okay.
for the project, and also thank you to my team. It's been really fun. But anyway, see you guys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Christopher. If you
Bye, Christopher.
should, yeah, you should leave now. Yeah. Okay. So
Siva, sorry. Do you
Liz, do you
have
want to
any
add-
questions? Yeah, well, that was a great presentation, everyone. Great job.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
this is a
'cause,
time where if you have any further questions for the students, anything that needs clarification or anything that the organization mentors might think to ask the students, this is the place to do it.
Okay, because I've actually worked closely with them during this 4 weeks, and I think like they nailed every aspect of the task that I gave them, because like they shot through right to the point to like the PDP law and like what's the difference between PDP law and like the GDPR, and I wasn't really quite sure at first that they could find all of those data, because like most of the data especially like in cybersecurity might not be available in English in some sense, but like I don't know, like they managed to find the data and then like presently present them like really well, like, so I gave like an A+ for group 1. Yeah, and they also nail it down also with the related case study, and how they also like highlight where phishing attacks is like the most efficient way to get to Indonesians, and how that they present the report with like how each of the, which is like they cover from individuals and like small businesses and like corporations and also governments, like on how they are going to protect themselves. So I think from my end, like I'm really pleased with the report, like the first group report. So yeah, maybe if like my team want to add more comments, maybe from Athena or Mr. Ibnu, I give you also like the time to comment on the first group report.
All right. Bravo, you guys. It was very outstanding the way you guys explain the complex concepts into a clear and engaging way. I think it truly impressed everyone in the team. also how you guys are promoting the online safety and the importance of how strong password is very important. And then the visual, the examples you guys made are very easy for the audience, I guess, to understand about the potential threats and how to also protect themselves from the online hacks. I think it's bravo, excellent work. Thank you. Maybe Mr. Ibnu wants to add.
Oh yeah, thank you, Tina. I just want to elaborate more on the conclusion and recommendation that what we need is a cyber education. So I think we have to go more specific, a little bit details, because it means that we have to integrate in school curriculum cyber education, or we can educate the community based, something like that.
All right, excellent. Maybe Luz from your end.
I'll congratulate the team again. That was fantastic, very straightforward, a lot of very easy to understand information, great graphics as well, which I think I remember in the initial sessions. I thought this is A+, fantastic. And look how far you've come in a few weeks.
Just 4 weeks.
I know,
Really
only 4 weeks.
work.
What a great way to spend your break from your classes. So bravo to this class, to this cohort of students. And I don't know if you want to add anything else. Anyone from the group wants to add anything? Anything else?
Maybe if I want to add, because like you guys all are already doing like very outstanding work. So if you need us to give you guys you know, like a reference letter or anything, if you need us to, you know, confirm some details about your work later on, if you're using it somewhere else, like we are more than happy to help you guys with that. And I think we could continue to group 2. And for group 1, for those of you who could stay, maybe please stay, because like this is going to be a great presentation as well.
Yes. Do the students want to say anything else? Do you want to add anything else? Anyone from this group before we go on to the next one? No? You're happy you're done? You've done the presentation? Now you can enjoy the next one.
They're so happy that they're finished.
Thank you. I'll give the floor back to you, Siva, for the next one.
Okay. So let's welcome team 2. Okay, team 2, time is yours.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen, but I've never done that. I've never done this before, so hold on.
On the bottom of the screen, Howard,
Yeah, it's not showing up for some reason.
Share screen?
Yeah, but it's not showing up in the windows.
It's the green one.
Yeah, I know, but if you click it, wait, hold on.
Would anyone else have the presentation and maybe can share it?
Or maybe share it to Nadia so Nadia could show it from her screen. Is that okay?
Yeah, I could do it.
Thank you. We can't see anything, Nadia.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm just adjusting it a little bit.
Oh, okay.
It's not really fitting my screen. Hold on.
Thank you.
Yep. Hold on. I'm about to share it. Can you see it?
Yep. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, let me just adjust something. Okay. Okay. Wait, is Mitilesh here?
Yeah. Can
Alright.
you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. So, first of all, thank you everyone for this opportunity, Monash, Warwick, and Annalise, for letting us do this for you guys. So, I'd like to start with a brief introduction of the market strategy for SOCs in Indonesia. To give some perspective, SOCs act as headquarters for organizations' cybersecurity activities. They work in-house or as outsourced team to continuously monitor and secure critical information, websites, databases, etc. Their objective is to detect cybersecurity incidents in real time and then respond to them promptly and efficiently as feasible. Indonesia is now lagging behind in cybersecurity and information communication technology. Indonesia is ranked 84th on the National Cybersecurity Index. This ranking is more than simply a number. It reflects our vulnerability to cyber attacks. Targets within our borders experienced almost 11.8 million cybersecurity assaults in the first quarter of 2022. These cyber assaults might range from well-known incidents like data dumps from banks and election data to SIM card registration details. Each of these incidents does enormous harm to our people, economy, and national security. So basically, this report, it is a roadmap for strengthening our cybersecurity defenses, notably through the strategic deployment and development of SOCs. We think that by implementing the proper measures, we can reverse the tide against cybersecurity dangers and provide a safer, secure digital environment. Passing on to I think Phoenix, is it?
Yep. Thank you,
Yeah.
Mitilesh.
Okay.
And now let's dive into the company analysis for the analyst. But before we proceed, I would like to explain to you why we use SWOT analysis of the company is essential in our market strategy report. So the SWOT analysis is a powerful tool that comprehensively assesses the company's internal strengths and weaknesses, external opportunities and threats. It enables us to develop a market strategy that would leverage strengths, address weaknesses, capitalize opportunities, and mitigate threats, aligning our actions with the company vision and mission. And now let's take a closer look at the company and assess its current position in the Indonesian market. Here we provide some general information about the company. You can see on the top right-hand side, highlighting its main services, vision, and mission, so the readers can gain a comprehensive understanding of the organization's business focus and objectives. As we look deeper into the SWOT analysis, we have uncovered the company's internal strengths, which define the competitive advantage and areas of expertise, such as the extensive experience and expertise in the digital forensics and cybersecurity industry, comprehensive service offerings, strong client base, and the use of advanced tools and technologies. On the other side, we also identified potential weaknesses that needs to address to enhance the company's market position, like the need to raise market awareness and limited brand recognition compared to larger competitors. In addition, we also explored the external opportunities that can be leveraged to expand analyst customer target and enhance their market presence, such as the growing demand for robust security measures within private organizations and the regulatory compliance requirements arising from the personal data protection law. However, we also recognize some potential threats that the company may face, like intense competition within the industry and the need to adapt to technological advancements. And now I'll pass on to Howard to discuss the significance of the personal data protection law and its impact on the SOCs and companies in Indonesia.
Yeah, thank you. The personal data protection law, again, mostly covered by the other team as well, but it's obviously important. I would like to say that we, our whole report basically focused on analysis as a company. So obviously rights are important for like right to private and family life and data privacy, like what's shown in the ECHR, the European Court of Human Rights. But so I think the law has a lot of potential in being Indonesia's first stepping stone in dealing with all these issues, and can thus be commercial success for companies like Analysis. So the way it's narrowed in Analysis, I've showed 3 main points. If you go to the next page, Nadia. Yeah, so enforcement, penalties, and international reach. Enforcement, again, touched by the other team. You have your data protection officers, similar to the EU. Each EU country has a data protection officer as well, who carry out data impact protection assessments to monitor cybersecurity and to monitor the definitions of data controller, data processors, and data subjects. And they even have the power in Article 58 to inform the president. The president was a catalyst for the making of the law, because he emphasized the need to, the need for change after seeing all these case studies like Bjorka and Tokopedia again. So enforcement, 2 years for companies to adjust to this change, ever since October of last year, I think, when the law was ratified. And penalties is the second one. If you don't enforce your data protection successfully, you're penalized either through fines or warnings or suspensions. Fines can amount to 2% annual revenue. There's also criminal liabilities as well, which is different. If you intentionally misconstrue data, you're liable criminally, which can lead to even harsher fines or imprisonment. And I talked about the concerns as well, but obviously it's all theoretical, because the law only came into effect last year. But I talked about how the issues of the GDPR, since it models on the same premise, the data protection law models on the same premise as the GDPR, it might face the same issues. One issue is the third point, the international reach. It's international reach. So if you see international data transfers between the EU and the US, it's a major problem. If you see the case of Schrems 2, if you want to pass on data between the US and the EU, between any other country, they require you to have a data protection threshold of either equal or higher than the EU. And Indonesia is copying that, basically. It's called material scope. So that might affect international reach with international companies, which is or it's applicable to Analysis if they have international development. It might if you want to if they want to collaborate with US companies, for example, that might be a hurdle. But again, many different issues in cybersecurity in Indonesia, and I think the law has a lot of potential in improving cybersecurity and awareness, making it so companies like Analysis will have more customers. But the government obviously wants people to follow this law and is conforming, and it's making it so it's very relevant to analysis and other like security operation centers. Oh, sorry. Now it's service identification, which is Jackie, I think.
Yep. In the evolving cyber landscape, security verification is key, especially in Indonesia, where mobile phones are the primary gateways for internet access and transactions. So to address this, analyst SOC products would incorporate advanced technologies for robust cybersecurity. So key features include real-time threat intelligences for early threat detections and also 24/7 monitoring for prompt incident response. Embracing data protections, regulations, compliance, it could help organizations uphold, strengthen regulations to the cybersecurity framework and to adopt to a growing cloud service. There is the need to provide details, analyze and focus on cloud security with lower cybersecurity awareness in Indonesia. The end user training service would enhance overall security knowledge. The solutions are customizable to cater diverse organization size, particularly in small to medium enterprise, and it could seamlessly integrate to their existing infrastructures, allowing organizations to leverage their systems while enhancing their cybersecurity capability. So this is basically the highlight of the core offerings and unique service of having SOC products. And I think next Saban will talk about the educations and collaboration sectors, right?
Yeah, thank you, Jackie. So since we know security attacks in Indonesia are increasing and there is not much precautions that they are taking, based on our research, a probable reason for Indonesia's low IT development in the field of cybersecurity is due to the lack of public's awareness for the growing need of strong cybersecurity measures. About 86% of developers do not view application security as a priority. This suggests that cybersecurity education and training may be lacking in formal education institutes and professional programs, causing a skill gap and lack of urgency among the public. Thus, we believe that education for awareness building cybersecurity is needed for everyone in Indonesia to catch up with the rapid technological development safely. Moving on, Nadia. So we have come up with a few solutions to help analysts and Indonesia overcome this issue. Firstly, it's organizational partnerships. So analysts can partner up with local cybersecurity organizations to share certain resources in the name of public education. For example, multiple organizations can collaborate to host public workshops to spread SOC awareness. Next, secondly, it's competitions. Analysts can host cybersecurity related competitions open to public with prizes and certificates to be won. These competitions should be designed to test competitors' technical skills and their ability to come up with solutions to solve current issue in the field of cybersecurity. Next, it's university partnerships. So analysts can partner with local universities to offer internships and research opportunities, offer cybersecurity trainings, and educate students in this growing field. Last but not the least, international countries. So the International Multilateral Partnership Against Cybersecurity Threats Impact is the first United Nations-backed cybersecurity alliance that was founded in Malaysia in 2011. So Indonesia should take advantage to garner sufficient knowledge to advance their cybersecurity techniques. Next, I'll be calling my teammate Nadia, who will be discussing the customer and market analysis.
All right, thanks, Kuban. So when it comes to the market analysis of SOC in Indonesia, cybersecurity is expected to grow. It is expected to have a compound annual growth rate of around 24.19% within the next 5 to 6 years. So during the pandemic, there was an increase of cyber threats because the pandemic has pushed for global digitalization. So such as remote work or online meetings and having online stores instead of just physical stores. So because of that, we can forward from here expect a much bigger increase of future cybersecurity attacks. So the main three fields, or should I say sectors of markets that really utilize cybersecurity is the banking sector. So in the first 6 months of 2022, there were around 273 attacks against Indonesian financial institutions every week on average. And this is a 252% increase, or should I say like 252% greater than the global average of around only 1,000 and something attacks. So that implies that the banking sector in Indonesia is heavily targeted. Besides that, the government sector is also another heavily targeted sector because a lot of threat actors would try and gain government knowledge, government data to try and, run smear campaigns and stuff like that. A lot of them would use SQL injection, maybe Google darking. These are some of the methods that threat actors would use to infiltrate to their database and try and steal government data. So when it comes to the private sectors, it's more of industries such as businesses or healthcare, manufacturing, things like that. And a lot of times what the private sector really complains about the most is financial loss. So when they get hacked or when data gets leaked, they will spend a lot of money to try and recover this or try and downplay the damage done. And it is said that the longer a business takes to detect and remediate an attack, so the longer time it takes for them to solve the issue, the more severe the impact it would be on operational performance and also revenue loss. And according to a survey, more than 80% of businesses in Indonesia said that they needed more than 1 hour to detect and handle breaches. So that would result in a lot of financial loss. So some of the ways to target each market, and by targeting each market, in this report, we're trying to focus more on analysis of the company. So what this means is these are some of the methods that analysis can use to sort of enter the market and use, how do I say this? And spread more awareness and able to help each of these markets. And what they can do is that they can research and understand the specific cybersecurity needs that each market needs. They can also develop customized cybersecurity solutions. And this is important because more often than not, a lot of the businesses only use specific cybersecurity solutions for every single problem. And that's not going to work because it's a one size fits solution for all. And that doesn't exist in real life. You need to develop customized security solutions to solve each different type of problem that you might face in your business. You can also obtain necessary security clearance and notifications and provide training. So employees need to be trained and aware of this current cybersecurity landscape in order to be able to solve it. So now we'll pass it on to my teammate Anaf, and he will talk about competitor analysis.
Thank you, Nadia. Among Analysis's main competitors, we've narrowed it down to 5 of its biggest competitors: Protergo, Huawei, ASUS, Telecom Indonesia, and Wallblog. Protergo installs agents to provide 24/7 security against cyber attacks. They offer vulnerability assessments, intrusion detection, open threat exchange, and log management. Huawei offers an international level of cybersecurity by building its own end-to-end global cybersecurity system. Huawei HiSec provides protection for data centers against security threats such as information leaks, Trojan horses, unauthorized access, and pipe attacks. ASUS's AI protection provides 24/7 security and performs risk assessments, allows VPN encryption, identifies and blocks malicious sites, and also blocks DDoS attacks through a two-way IPS. And Telecom Indonesia is ranked 9th in Asia Pacific region in terms of market value. It provides implementation of SOCs using advanced products like Palo Alto Networks PA3000, Panorama, and Autofocus. And the last competitor on our list, Wallblock, provides firewalls, servers, NAS storage, and antivirus software, but it also provides services like CCTV and fiber optic installation, website and application development, and penetration testing. Now I'll give the stage back to Nadia to talk about infographics.
So one of the infographics we did was a cost-benefit analysis. And we did a cost-benefit analysis for in-house security operations center and also outsourced. So the difference between them is in-house means if you have a internal team within your organization who are experts in cybersecurity, and outsource would mean that you hire other companies to do your cybersecurity work for you. So when it comes to in-house, the costs, so the disadvantages, I would say, is that it usually costs a lot more because it takes time to build a in-house team, and it takes time to build the infrastructure, train the teams, and things like that. And it doesn't guarantee continuous threat monitoring. And this is because employees may leave the job at any time. So when it comes to time constraints, is what I mentioned previously. It takes a lot of time to set up. So when it comes to the benefits, it would have a tailor-made security response, and that's because if you have an internal team, you can train them however way you want. So you don't have to explain yourself to the, let's say you want to outsource a team, you would have to sort of rely on them, and they might not have the methods that you would need to solve your problem. Whereas if you have an in-house team, they would be more familiar with the network infrastructure and business context. And you can also predetermine the depth of security analysis. So oftentimes when you hire outside companies to do your cybersecurity work, they would usually only provide a level 1 cybersecurity operation analyst. So it's not that deep, and they probably wouldn't be able to help you cover every single cyber issue that you're currently facing. So if you have an in-house team, they usually have a quicker response time because they're already there in the company, so you can just get them immediately. And it also promotes stronger collaboration amongst all the other departments. So if you have an in-house team, you can enhance communication and facilitate effective security operations because every single department will be, they can collaborate with the security team that you already have inside. So when it comes to outsource, the cost is, like I said previously, when you hire an outsourced organization, the analysis might not be thorough enough, or it might not be deep enough to your liking. Also for compliance management, and what this means is you have to conform to their regulations. So it's outside companies' regulations instead of your own. So the benefit is obviously that you have really highly skilled and trained SOC personnel readily available at all times. And you will save a lot of money because you won't have to buy infrastructure or train your employees. And it'll more likely have continuous threat monitoring because, you know, there's no chance of them ever just quitting the job and things like that. So another infographic we did was security breach detection. And what this is for is it's more of like, what are the causes of some of like security breaches and how to detect these breaches. So a lot of the times, data breaches happen because of malware and phishing campaigns. So for example, if your employee accidentally clicks on a malware infested link through an email and things like that. And other times it's because attackers would take advantage of vulnerable servers or software. So if you don't update your softwares regularly, there is a high chance that you may allow access to these attackers. Oftentimes it's also human error. So if your employees aren't really trained or aware of cybersecurity and how to practice cybersecurity and how to take care of your company's data, they might be more likely to reveal sensitive data or accidentally click on links and download phishing malware infested things. So you have to train your employees to be very aware of all these things. And how do we detect these data breaches? We can use a network security analytics, and it has to be 24/7. So you have to be constantly monitoring your network. We could also use AI and machine learning for constant monitoring, and we have to use immediate alerts. So the more time you waste trying to find a problem when it comes to cybersecurity, the more you will lose out. So immediate alerts will tell the client of potential data breaches immediately. So after that, this is for incident response and mitigation. And what this means is this is what happens after a security breach. What are the steps that you should do as a company after a security breach? So first, you obviously have to respond to it and to limit the exposure of sensitive data. And then you have to investigate why it happened, and you have to solve the problem immediately. After that, you have to handle all the external issues that may arise. So for example, if you're a bank and you have a breach of data and your customer's data is leaked, you will have to tell your customers about this issue instead of trying to hide it. And then you always have to ongo the monitoring process, because once you get hacked or once you have a data breach, you're in a very vulnerable position. So you have to continue monitoring to make sure no other attacks happen. And then after that, once all of that is settled, you have to reevaluate your prevention plan. So what this is, it's sort of like some businesses would have business plans, but for security-wise, it's more of a security measure plan. And this would involve a really in-depth assessment of affected systems, and you have to identify all the potential weakness that could happen again. So all of the weak links in your cybersecurity processes and measures. And you should also consider the impact of the breach and what it has done to your company and see how you can fix that. And this is to avoid a similar situation happening next time, or maybe it's to make yourself more prepared for future situations, which brings to learning from the incidents that has happened. And you also should, after that, increase security awareness training. So you have to train your employees and things like that, every single employee, to be more mindful of cybersecurity and what to do in an event of a breach. And yeah, that's about it. That's pretty much the end of our report. We have our references and things like that. So yeah, thank you.
Yay. Great job, team 2.
I think she hung.
Okay. Am I do I froze again?
Yeah, you froze for a second. It's
Athena,
fine.
maybe you could start first because my network is not.
Okay, I think it was very well done. The way you guys showed the significance of the SOC and the depth analysis of real-time monitoring and incident response procedures. I think it was very well demonstrated, and I think it was very well done. Maybe Sifa wants to add.
I'm stopping from the network.
I think you're fine. Okay.
I think you're muted. Oh, she's typing.
She's typing it in the chat.
I think her connection is not very
Because
good,
I was
so she's
stopping,
typing. That's a
like,
great idea.
I want to say something, like it just stopped, like my screen. Oh my god. Like I think they nailed every point that I asked them to do, because this is more of like a B2B approach. So it's like more business to business.
No, you're not. I think you're fine.
You're fine now.
Am I now?
Yeah, you're okay now.
Okay, because it's getting noisier. I don't know why. It's getting later, but yeah. Yeah, I think like you guys nailed everything, because like for team 2 it's more towards like a B2B approach. It's like SOC, and how the competition is actually not that many as in for now, because like most of the competitors are like still from overseas, right? Like from overseas companies, like yeah. And I like how you guys are doing the graphics, where actually you put the complex SOC into like a more simple detail, so like people could understand how SOC is placed within a company, right? And how actually like the the competitors can actually might be potential collaborator to us also, and also the potential market to cover, and also the training, and the in-house and outsource analysis. And last one is when you finally gave suggestions to what should the company do. I like the last point of it, like it includes still the security awareness training. So even though like you still have like inside what is it, like insider team working on your data type of cybersecurity analysis, but you also still need to train your maybe non-IT personnel, right? Like whereas they might be like low in literacy about like the cybersecurity awareness. Okay, so good job as well. Maybe Luz, do you want to add anything or comment?
Again, I want to congratulate everyone. What a great presentation. Very different for the first one, and still you just knocked it out of the park. Congratulations to all the students. And as Siva was saying, at Monash, we do have compulsory training for cyber safety. So that's bang on, correct. I want to thank everyone for coming. I know it's late for the Australian students, but what a fantastic experience for both teams to come together, and from one to learn from the other team. That's fantastic. I want to thank Siva and everyone who has taken part in this Teamwork 2023. You've been amazing partners, and look at all the students who are still standing here today, and what a magnificent work they have provided. Thank you.
Okay, I think that's a wrap for today, and I think there's also like students from Indonesian campus. So maybe later I will get in touch with Monash cybersecurity students too, and like pass on your recordings, and maybe if they need your report, because we already announced it, like it will be will be made publicly available. Yeah, I think that's it from my end. Maybe Pak Ibnu Gunawan, do you want to add anything for the team 2 presentation?
Oh yeah, thank you, Siva, and I agree with all of you. I'm deeply impressed, especially with their optimistic view of the future business PT analyst, especially. Thank you, Siva.
Okay, so I think thank you everyone who's already who had attended this meeting, although it's like super late already in Australia and also in Malaysia, Indonesia, or wherever you are. So thank you everyone. So I'm going to close this meeting, and I will send the meeting recording via email to Luz, and if it's still available for me to post it on the Microsoft Teams, I will do it also. So thank you again, everyone. So if you guys need us to give you guys a reference or any details and in part of your work, or if you want to use the report to be your portfolios, we are welcome for you to do that. So it's really great to have you guys in project with us. So we are hoping that although like we are not already doing the same project again, we'll still keep in touch, and maybe drop everyone LinkedIn on the Microsoft Teams, so we could add everyone else on LinkedIn, maybe from Team 1 and Team 2, because you already know each other too. So yeah, I think that's it. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.